Miss Nick,
Hey there. Okay.
how you
So
doing?
yeah, how's it going, ladies?
Okay, doing the
I,
countdown.
yeah, I know we're a week and a day out.
Yeah,
So have you guys been able to pick up your books?
yeah, I picked it up.
Okay. And then how about you, Sandra? Did you get yours? Excellent. Excellent. Okay. And I've had, I think, 4 people who have said they can't make it tonight, but let me just see. I hadn't heard from Becca. Let me see if got anything from her. So it was Becca, Sarah, Esther. Yeah, Esther and one other. Anyway, it may just be us. So this could be a really brief meeting.
Okay.
So I just emailed you guys the final PowerPoint that I'm using, and then the discussion sheet. So you know, I didn't change a whole lot. I just tried to, you know, make it a little more user friendly, make it a little, put some more pictures in, that kind of thing. But the big thing will be, you guys are going to hear the presentation. You'll have already have read the and it's not, they're short chapters really. And let's look at the discussion guide.
Okay.
Let me get that. So what I wanted to do was, you know, keep it upbeat, but still kind of dig in a little bit. And you guys are really good at being positive, so I got no worries. My computer's slow. Okay, here we go. So hopefully the PowerPoint makes sense, and once you've done the reading, you'll see. Here's the discussion guide. I just wanted to keep it really simple and make sure that you have enough time. You know, we're going to have like an hour and a half with the families. I don't know how many are signed up. We, you know, if we have a huge turnout, there's 7 of you guys or 8, let me see. And so we may end up having maybe 2 families at one table with you. It's at Carrick Elementary, which is really close to the well. So hopefully that's convenient for you. Okay, so they will have had the presentation, and then we'll turn it, well, they arrive, we eat, and then they clear the stuff out, the kids go then, and she's gonna have childcare for the kids to go. Teenagers will be allowed to stay, and that'll be good. Even some older kids would be good for this, but so then you're just gonna say, okay, so we just had this conversation. Tell me about a parenting win that you've had, and just let them tell their story, and just really affirm them. And wow, that was, you know, that showed great compassion, or great understanding, or just great affirmation of your child, just whatever, you know, whatever they have that they feel really good about. And you say, okay, so we know that you've got, you know, you've got the love, you know, you've got the heart, and it looks like you've got some skills. Let's talk a little more. And so then we talk about HALT, which, if you guys remember, is hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. So share a time when you realized you were dealing with HALT with your child. So, they may say, oh, it was a meltdown. It was close to bedtime. They didn't want to brush their teeth, whatever. Okay. Yeah. And then you realize, okay, we're dealing with a tired child. Then what did you do? How did you manage that? And then, and that'll be plenty of discussion. And then, okay, now, remember a time you'd wish you'd done better with your child when they were emotional. Because the whole point of this thing is we're talking right brain. We talk right brain first to get them into problem solving before we can, so that we can bring that together. And then if it's something that's really stuck, if it's, trauma or something that they need to work through, you do upstairs, downstairs brain. And so you'll talk through that with them. Then the next thing is you're going to do a role play with them. And you're going to let you can be the child, or if you have a child there, maybe they can reenact what happened. But basically we're going to say, hey, you get a do-over, mom or dad or grandma, whoever, you get a do-over. Let's work this through. And then you do the role play with them. I know everybody hates role plays, but you can help them with that, and you play the child, and you're like, no, I don't want to do it, or whatever it was. And then you kind of coach them through it, and you'll say, okay, all right, now, so how do we talk to the right brain here? We're going to lower our voice. We're going to be, we're going to try to connect and say, okay, all right, I know you're upset. Can we just breathe here for a minute, or whatever it is? And then, so you talk them through it, and then you go back over and say, okay, what was that like? Did you, how did you feel doing it that way? And then you give high fives all around. So I think this would probably give you plenty to do in, 45 minutes. And if you have time left over, say, okay, tell me about another win you had, just connect with
Keep
them.
going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you suggest using the story that they give, use that as the role play?
Yeah. Yeah. How would you do this differently? Now that you know what you know about right brain, left brain, upstairs, downstairs, now that you know this, how would you do this differently now? Let's try it. Let's just try it. Or you could do empty chair if you want. Whatever you feel like is going to be more effective in working with them.
So it would be like is everybody like in one big room, separated? Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be at different tables.
Okay.
Unless something, I'll be going, extra early to make sure I understand the setup. That's how we did it last time, was, would be one family per table and one student per family, or, maybe two families if you do it that way. Just consider it like a small group therapy session. Okay. If you have more than one family involved. Again, I don't know, we had, gosh, I know there were at least 30 people there, and at least, there were just enough students. So there was a student per family or per table. And I had planned on, doing it myself if there weren't enough people, and there was enough people. So I was able to just kind of go from one table to the next and check in. So hopefully I'll be able to do that, but I'm ready to jump in there myself if need be. So we just kind of have to go in and be prepared for whoever shows up.
Okay. And so you're going to go over the presentation first, and then we're going to break out in sessions.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll all be sitting in the same room. I'm going to have the PowerPoint printed out for them so that they can take notes with it. And then you guys will have the discussion sheets that you can use with them, take some notes or whatever. But really, think of it like just a connecting, like a joining, just like you would with an intake.
Okay.
Except we're already laughing and we're already talking. And that's something that I loved about the last one. I'm not sure. Were you guys able to make the other meeting? Okay, all right. So this was so cool. I wasn't sure the last one we did back in November. I'd never, been a part of anything like that. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but the students, first of all, they were so happy to see one another. They sat at a table together and talked, but then they started to go to the families, and a couple of them were greeting them as they came in, and hey, here's your table over here. And it was just so cool. Okay. And now imagine this, Genogram, that was the family resource person. She's been to therapy. She felt like the Genogram helped her so much. And I just, I don't know what, let me tell you something. Those families were in it, and they were drawing them out. And the ones who had teenagers with them, they'd say, don't you remember that's when that happened with your dad? And they were talking through their family history as they were doing them. They loved it. It was, I mean, I get chill bumps now. They loved it. It was just,
awesome.
It really was. And I was so thrilled.
Are you going to do it again, Nikki?
What?
The Genogram? The Genogram.
No, but I can share you. See, they've got a grant for 3 meetings.
Oh.
So she had the Genogram is what she wanted first. And then, I just taught this book in my parent and child class for undergrad. And I said, Nicole, what about, this book is just great. It's the whole brain child. And she said, well, we've got a box of those over here. I wasn't sure what to do with them. I was like, I got something we can do with them. Yeah. So, plus one of the other family resource persons asked if there were any other books that I would recommend. And that I recommended for the adolescents. It's called Brainstorm. Mm-hmm. And are you all up for watching a short video?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, if you've got time. This was so cool. This I learned as I was teaching the course. I hadn't done much research on the adolescent brain, and I learned a lot. So let me see here. Let me pull up the video. Just fire away questions if you have any.
Okay. I'm so excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. Yes. So you got another one that you're going to be teaching also after this one?
There'll be one in the fall. I don't have, I'm just going to wait and see how this one goes to see what, if there's a need there. Come on, man.
Well, I know I would like to be a part of it.
Yeah, and we just happen to be, here it is. Found it. This is the one it's actually designed for youth to watch, but I thought this was pretty cool. Yeah, the one in the fall, I don't know what we're going to do with that one. I'm kind of hoping that Nicole, the family resource person, will will have an idea. But if not, there's lots of stuff we could do to help parents. And I'm open to suggestion if they don't have something they want to do. All right, so here we go. Here's my Zoom skills, y'all.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that. Share sound and share. See it?
Yes.
All right, so this is the author, Dan Siegel, one of the authors. And this is the one this is what he does with teenagers.
The adolescent period is absolutely amazing. People often give it a negative approach, saying, oh, it's a time where adolescents are going to lose their mind, or they're just immature, or raging hormones drive them crazy. These are all not only wrong, but they're myths that mislead us and actually disempower us. Whether we're adults or adolescents, they actually give us the wrong message and they make it so there's nothing we can do. So what is actually the truth? The truth is that instead of raging hormones, what's happening is we have remodeling in the brain. In ways we never could have predicted, we now understand two big things are happening in the brain, things you as an adult can support adolescents in developing well, and if you're an adolescent, you actually can use this to help your brain grow in an optimal way. What are those two things? The brain is pruning itself. So imagine that in childhood, you're growing like a tree and establishing all these branches and all these leaves are growing. In the brain, that means connections among the basic cell, the neuron, called synapses, are being established. And you're soaking in the knowledge of the world, and that's beautiful. The tree is just growing, growing, growing. But then what happens that surprised everyone is the brain begins to prune itself. You start carving away some of those leaves, some of the smaller branches, even some of the larger branches. And the reason for the pruning is to specialize the brain. While the child is developing in ways that are really generalized, learning everything they can about everything they can, an adolescent is going to begin to find their passion, to actually find things they like, things they really love doing, and to drive their development in that way. So pruning is actually a use it or lose it principle underneath it. That if you don't use something, you're gonna lose it. So if you like sports or like dancing or like music, do those things so you continue to establish those circuits. The second thing that happens in the remodeling adolescent brain is myelin formation. Myelin is a healthy sheath that allows connected neurons to communicate with each other in a much more effective way. How? It's 100 times faster, the signal that's sent down a neuron to communicate with another neuron, 100 times faster, and after it fires off, it's 30 times shorter the resting period that happens. 30 times 100 is 3,000. So when you've put down myelin, you've made your neurons communicate 3,000 times more effectively. That's a great thing. Now, the great thing too is that you as an adolescent can actually use the focus of your attention to be aware of your emotions, aware of other people, to be engaging in activities, to be doing things with your thoughts that actually reinforce the parts of your brain you want to hold on to. So the good news about the remodeling story is that a field called neuroplasticity, how the brain responds to experience, shows us that what you do with your mind can change the activity and therefore the structure of your brain. So if you then come up with the statement that the ultimate goal of brain remodeling is to make an integrated brain, to differentiate areas, that's the pruning, and myelinate them, that's the linkage. When you increase differentiation and linkage, you make the brain more integrated. And an integrated brain is the pathway toward well-being. And you can do mind-sight exercises. These are exercises that increase insight, empathy, and integration. And if you do them as an adolescent, and you can also do them as an adult, you'll actually increase the integration of your brain as your brain is growing, not just during adolescence, but throughout the lifespan. And what's the outcome of integration? When integration is made visible, it's kindness and compassion. And so what we see through adolescent development is that our relationships become built on connections that are deep and filled with honoring each other's vulnerability, that's kindness, and supporting connections that are compassionate, filled with a sense of caring about other people and wanting to help them. This is the kind of world we can build as we move through life and support each other in our development.
That was good.
Real good.
That was really good.
All right. And so I had no idea about the pruning. And one of the things that I was able to bring out to my students in the parent and child course was, it's about ministry. It's a part of the marriage and family ministry undergrad degree, is that the times when kids want to fall away from church, that is when you've got to emphasize it even more, because their brain is pruning. They're pruning their scripture knowledge. They're pruning, if they're not using it. So if they don't use it, they lose it. And so it's even more important for adolescents to be engaged in what you want them to become as a person. So yeah, there's the, you know, the moving away from being dependent on parents, but at the same time, you can't just let things go. So yeah, so that was fascinating to me. And
Now,
yeah.
I can't find. I'm sorry, Nikki. I was just, when he started talking about pruning, I was thinking about the scripture about the vine being connected to the vine and how he prunes and break off the branches.
Yeah.
And every time it was saying that and they was pulling away, I was like, Lord, it just take me to that scripture.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So so the families are going to get I believe they're going to get the Mindsight book too. So they're going to get the Whole Brain Child and the Mindsight book if everything worked out like yeah. So that's basically it. We, you know, we'll get through. We'll have that Thursday night one, and then the next one will be in the fall. And the date hasn't been set for that. I'm guessing it might be because we did it. I think we did it in November because of, you know, the kids have to get in. Well, you've worked in JCPS, right, Kim?
No, I haven't. I used to volunteer with them, but it was done in November because I remember I had something going on.
Yeah. So we had to get past them getting acclimated to school, and then they have to go through, they do suicide screenings every year. Then we had to get through that, and then we had to get past, you know, whatever, there maybe it was a fall break, I don't know. But get it in before, you know, Thanksgiving or whatever. So that's kind of how it fell in November. It might be October, but that's kind of what I'm thinking is, you know, it's certainly not going to happen in August and probably not September. But yeah.
You'll send out an email for volunteers, won't you?
Absolutely. And you'll be definitely on the list. Yes. Yes, ma'am. So, so yeah, that's basically it. You know, if you do your reading, and then of course you're going to hear the presentation. And like I said, if you plan to be involved in the fall, I'd love to hear your ideas. This is Nicole Nicole Joyner. She's the family resource person who wrote the grant and got this thing put together, and this is going to be at her school. So hopefully, you know, she may have an idea already of what she's seeing the kids, what parents need and all that. But yeah, it's, so I'm just really excited. And the thing for me was the one we did in the fall, just seeing those families that their eyes were lighting up and they were so excited about talking about these things, and just seeing you guys, your fellow students interacting with them, and it was so cool. Very exciting.
And you know what, Nikki, the blessing of it is God has already ordained this because of the fact is this right here. You know, he was like, oh, you know, we can use those. So
right.
You know, so it's so it's gonna be awesome. Did you give us a time? You probably did.
It's
we need to be
like
there
5:30 to 7:30. So we're allowing you know, half an hour to get the meal and then get kids settled in
get there about 5.
Whatever childcare they have, and then I'm going to talk for, you know, maybe I'm gonna try to keep it at a half an hour. You know, I can talk as long as they let me. But you know, so then that last little bit will be you guys working with the families, and maybe what we'll do is maybe we'll leave it at an hour and then have some Q&A. I'm just going to kind of see how that goes. You know, an hour may be plenty.
Okay.
But yeah, they were, and when they were leaving, you had the students were just still talking with parents, and it was beautiful. It really was.
Awesome.
I thought, whew, this
Nikki,
is awesome. Yeah.
do you teach any grad classes?
I don't. I don't have a PhD, so I
Oh.
can only teach undergrad.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a loophole that I can do. Say a loophole. I don't have to have a doctorate to do supervision, and so that's how I do what I do with you guys.
Okay. Okay.
There's
And Kim, are you thinking about getting your doctor?
Who, me?
It's time and money, but there is talk of us developing a PhD in the MFT program.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that's
Dr. Harris had mentioned that a couple of times. Mhm.
Yeah, it's if that turns out to be the case, but I'll be 60 in November, and I'm
I know I can.
I'm anyway, I'll have
Look,
to pray about it. Yeah,
I'll be 60 next Thursday on the day that we do this.
that's
So,
right.
I know good and well I can't. My brain right now just feel like let me make it.
Yeah. It really, my husband's the one that needs a PhD. He's just super smart, super genius, and he loves teaching. So if anybody needs to get a PhD, it's him. He's got his master's, but yeah. So I probably have to keep working to pay for his PhD.
Well, I would love to. I love teaching,
Uh-huh.
but I like. Well, first of all, I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna I've been checking into and talking to Dr. Hollis because I want to do more with like sex, teach sex ed classes.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And did a lot with them. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a sexologist.
Well, and let me tell you, there's a lot of demand for that. So, you could find your niche as a therapist there. Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
So
most of the couples I work with, that's their issue. It's sex. And a lot of times, it's not the intercourse, it's just, other things that's going on. So, and I, find myself sharing that with some of the clients that I work with, so I would like to get more knowledge so that I would be well-rounded in that particular area.
absolutely. Yeah. You'll have no shortage of clients. I'll tell you that.
Right.
And Kim, for a while, I've been asked, so what do you want to specialize in? I'm like, I just don't know. But then we have a couple that we have not worked with them as a couple because she was just coming with him. So after we did the training, our first meeting with them was on Monday. And we actually met with them as
I got to
couple.
see the video.
Oh, did you?
Yes,
so
I did.
I felt pretty good about it. And yesterday I got this text from his wife, and she texted me and she said that she really appreciates me and Erica, and I don't forget exactly. Oh, here it is right here. She texted, she said, wanted to let you know how much John and I appreciate you and Erica. We are blessed by you all. And she told me she's praying for my mom. But it's like, to get that just out of nowhere.
Yeah, right.
I thought that so I was thinking, I think that I'm gonna really because that's my first couple, because I didn't know what I was gonna do with it. But I think it's what I'm like doing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So and you guys will be prepared for for any of that. So yeah, so I saw the video. I want to see the rest of it because we didn't get to see the whole thing. So maybe you can bring that. Yeah, you can bring that in the morning, maybe.
Well, see, she recorded it, and I didn't because she's on screen, and I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because you're off camera. You're off camera. It's not ideal, but I mean, we can still work with that. We can still work with that. Okay. Well, is there anything else, ladies? Any other questions you have?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm going to get there at least an hour ahead of time, so that we're all set up. Probably be more like an hour and a half, because I like to there's always something going to go wrong. And if it, and mostly technology is what goes wrong for me.
Mhm.
And it's going to break.
What about the attire? Casual?
Yeah, you can do casual, you know, I mean, you can wear your Campbellsville t-shirts. I mean, you know, whatever you feel comfortable
Where can I
with.
get one at? Where can I get a
Oh,
t-shirt?
you need to tell Dr. Hollis, they are in the office. So
Okay.
you tell him what size you need and he'll make sure you get one.
Okay. I'll make sure I email them as soon as I get off her.
There you go. Very good. Well,
All right, well,
ladies,
thank you, Nikki.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love that you guys, you know, you guys are.
I just want everything. I'm a little sponge. I just want, yeah, I just want all of it.
Yeah, but you're going to be great and you're going to love it. You're going to love it. So yeah, and call me, text me, whatever you need.
Well, I'll see you in the morning at 9 o'clock.
Yes, you will. I may not be out of my pajamas, but there you go.
That's okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Happy Easter resurrection.
All right. Same to you.
Yes. Yes. Same to you.
Same to you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.